But the thing we let off with today was Aaron Jones not being listed as a top 10 quarterback according to executives, scouts, and coaches. I believe it was the 50-person poll, and Aaron Jones not finding himself within the top 10. So we go to 24/7 Sports and Pack-A-Day Podcasts. Jimmy Christensen joining us now here on the Alex Strouf Show. Jimmy, hey buddy, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for jumping on with me. So give me your reaction to this. Aaron Jones not listed as a top 10 quarterback seems just ridiculous after the year he had a year ago, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. And at this point, I guess I'm just used to just weird things happening towards the Packers this offseason. With Aaron Jones, I was looking at the other players, and he has more rushing yards than Barkley, Kamara, and Bell last season, more all-purpose yards than Barkley, Mixon, Kamara, Jacobs, and Bell, more receiving yards than Bell, Barkley, Elliott, and Mixon, and still somehow not even number 10. It doesn't make sense how you can put – I don't know. I'm surprised about Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is good, but he was very one-dimensional last year. Mixon, good, very one-dimensional. And Kyle mentioned it earlier in the show. Just – he was their offense. He got a lot of carries, less yards per carry. As you can't tell, I'm ranting because I'm just so confused about this.
I'm cutting you loose. Get after it.
I don't get it, man. It doesn't make sense. I don't know how you.
It doesn't.
You have the season he did, led to the NFL in touchdowns.
So where would you rank him, Jimmy? Would you put him, 6, 7, somewhere in there, higher, lower?
I'd probably have him around 7, 6 or 7. I'm honestly even fine with Dalvin Cook being ahead of him. He's dynamic and he's really good. Even as a Viking, I hate to say it, but he's really, really talented. Barkley, you have to, even after being injured last year and this being able to put up numbers he did with the Giants offense is impressive. So I'd have him around 6 or 7. And I was with you too. I was surprised Leonard Fournette wasn't in there.
Not in that conversation, at least, right? I think that's a snub. That's a snub as well. But and I don't know where you'd throw him in there. But to have Bell in that top 10 was interesting to me. Obviously, I think he's past his prime. I think he can still pack a punch, right, for New York. But it's all subjective, I guess. The ACC has gone conference only. That is brand new. Oh, this sports stuff is looking really good, Jimmy.
Dude,
it's looking really good come fall.
So. Talking about the ACC, Big Ten going conference only, what do you think? 16 games NFL this year? What do you think?
I don't want to be a pessimist because, of course, I want to say yes, but it's not looking too good, is it? They might make a total schedule change similar to that of the MLB. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how the NFL ends up. Do you have a Sam Congato jersey behind you? I'm sorry, I just noticed it.
Yeah, I do.
I met Sam Congato when I was 6 years old, and I think that's when he was here. Yeah, when he was in Green Bay. But that is fantastic. That is one heck of a jersey.
I can't lie. This is the second Sam Congato one I got. I was I did a year abroad teaching in China, and I have to admit, you could get jerseys really cheap over there, so it's not 100% authentic. I'm very sorry, NFL, but
they're coming for you.
I know they'll probably be at my door soon. I bought one and I was out and I pretty much ended up giving the jersey away because someone was asking about the Packers and I was like, here, he was a foreigner too. And I was like, here, man, take it. Represent it in your country.
Represent Sam Congato everywhere. Yeah. If you had to give one jersey away, that's probably my favorite option because that's just hilarious in 2020. But nonetheless, Jimmy Christensen of 24/7 Sports and PackerReport.com, our guest. Jimmy, you put out an article, I believe it was yesterday. You spoke with Chandon Sullivan about that D-back group, 2020, his opportunity as a lead slot corner. What was that conversation like with Chandon Sullivan?
It was awesome, man. I guess before all the people I talk with, obviously want to do some research on him and things.
Yeah.
And just looking at the college, he went to Georgia State. He said it was a newer college. He was able to set the all-time interception record, pass deflection record. Somehow he went undrafted after being a 4-year starter, which was really surprising.
Yeah.
But just talking with him, he's everywhere he's been, when he was with the Eagles, worked his way up from undrafted to practice squad, played 5 games for him, even started. The Packers, he made the most of his opportunities. And one of the big things that he just kept talking about, and a lot of other players too on the defensive side, the young ones, like Will Redmond said it, Kadar Holman, is that they're just versatile. And in a secondary with Pettin as a D coordinator, he likes to try to throw some funky things in there. And Sullivan was mentioned to get the slot corner position, but I wouldn't be surprised to just see him all over the defense. That's what he said. The first thing he said to his coach was, I'm a ball player. I'm versatile. So
yeah. And taking a look at that D-backs group, it's a group we talk a lot about, right? Obviously, Kevin King going into a contract year. We know Jair's kind of that number one guy. The safeties look good. But overall as a whole, you mentioned you've talked to guys like Kadar Homan and Will Redmond and obviously Chandon Sullivan, as we just referenced. What's your whole takeaway from this D-back group going into 2020? Hungry, obviously, you said versatile, but what's your whole takeaway from that group?
One thing that I've been kind of thinking about more lately, and it's making me a little bit nervous, but the loss of Tremont. I think talent-wise we're there to replace it. He's a 16-year vet. He looked great last year. And even if we bring him back, I'll be super happy to have him on the team. But just as a leader in the secondary, like that position group is very young. Mm-hmm. Our oldest player in the secondary is Adrian Amos, who's only in his second year with the Packers. Kevin King is going on to his 4th year, Jair 3rd year. Redmond was drafted in 2017. So like Sullivan's only 20, he's going on to be 23 or 24. So like everyone's young, which is good because they have a lot of upside. But then when you get later on in the season or in the playoffs, sometimes you want to have that experience in that secondary to kind of help out. They're young, they're hungry, but the loss of Tremont Williams is seeming a little bit bigger to me lately.
Yeah, and that's actually not what I expected from you. Tremont Williams is kind of that glue of that secondary is the way you view it.
Yeah,
interesting.
All of them are mentioning too. Just you hear of other podcasts and things where like players say when they talk to older veterans, like, yeah, they would be there to help me if I asked them, but they wouldn't go out of their way to come like help me because like we are in a competition. Every player I've talked to said the complete opposite of Tremont. Like he'd go out of their way to help him. Even though he had the spot ahead of him, like he was still working to help the players behind him get better. Like right now he's in Houston working out with Kingsley Keke. Like he's not even part of the Packers and he's still working out with players and stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I saw a tweet this morning, Jimmy, and I'd like your opinion on it, right? Obviously, Tim Boyle, who you spoke with earlier in June, is there still a legitimate chance that he gets QB2 in 2020?
For a second, I thought you were talking. I put a stupid tweet out today about Rodgers having 62% completion last year and Tim Boyle having 75. Oh, I thought you were bringing that up. I was like, yeah, he's QB1. No, I think we could see him at QB2 next year for a couple reasons. One, talking with Tim Boyle, he's another player. MVS was another one like this, but he had 6 different offenses so far since starting college. Yeah. And so this is the first time since being at UConn that he had the same offense 2 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
So like that's huge. Or maybe it was at Eastern. Yeah, no, not Eastern Kentucky is when he had 2 years in a row. Yeah. So it's been a while. And I think having another year to grow behind Aaron Rodgers and being an offense that he's used to will be beneficial for him to be quarterback number 2. And I also think having him in that position takes away a lot of the drama. Like if you just have Love at quarterback 3 and just say, look, you're learning right now, man. Like you might come in some funky plays, as Brett Favre said, to be our quote unquote Taysom Hill. Man. But I think to avoid drama, I think he's going to be QB3 or Boyle will be QB2. Love will be QB3.
Do you okay? So I because it's a possibility. I feel like a lot of us haven't thought about. I haven't thought about realistic chance that Jordan Love might not just be up to snuff in this system because obviously, as you mentioned, Boyle has the experience in it. Would it ruffle some fans' feathers? I almost feel like if Love was QB3 because you trade up in the first round when you have a healthy Rodgers. People are still puzzled by all of this.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I feel like at this point there's really no way for them to go without making some fans upset.
Oh, of course. Right.
So like, if you do it this way, you're going to have people say, well, you just wasted a first round pick. But then if you put them at QB2, you're going to have like the random people who want headlines that are saying like, well, is it Jordan Love's time? And I don't know. They're in a tough spot. They put themselves in this spot, but I think just avoid as much drama as you can, keep everyone cool, show that you're still committed to Rodgers, even though it shouldn't even be a question at this point.
Right.
For next season, like I think QB3 is a good spot for him to learn and in practice split reps with Boyle. It's really just a number next to the name. If Rodgers goes down, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, it really is just a number next to the name, and fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But
Yeah.
you never know. Talk to me about that running back room. It's one I'm so intrigued by. I like to ask a lot about it from people that know more than me. I mean, that running back room is very, very, very intriguing with the addition of AJ Dillon and the impending contracts of the other two. So, what is your insight? What are your thoughts on that running back room going into 2020?
Yeah, I think weirdly we just drafted him last year, but you have to assume Dexter Williams is going to be on the outs.
Yeah.
Like we're going to roll. We have our three running backs. I'm convinced that I don't think Jamal Williams is going to be, people had him as a surprise cut. I don't think so. I think bringing in AJ Dillon and I'm with you. It's a very interesting group.
It is.
Because you don't know how they're going to play it. Because Aaron Jones, he improved in the passing game last year, but it kind of seems like Jamal Williams still has a leg up on him in that aspect a little bit. He seems like a little more efficient in that way. He's a better pass protector. That's huge. And I've kind of toyed with the idea that this year we'll roll. Like I think AJ Dillon will come in if someone gets hurt, goal line situations, short yard situations, things like that. But I'm wondering next year if Aaron Jones, it might be the one that's on the way out. And then we have AJ Dillon as our workhorse, or kind of our Derrick Henry. And then Jamal Williams kind of as that passing down, change of pace running back.
Right. Yeah, because I feel like it's realistic that Jamal Williams does re-sign, on a team-friendly deal and still become that reliable second back almost. I think that's a realistic scenario in my mind, at least, given that the number next to the dotted line for Aaron Jones is going to be a little bit higher than I feel like the Packers are going to go for. So,
especially after this season when with the chip on his shoulder now.
I feel like that mountain on his shoulder that he referred to this morning. Right.
It's going to go up, man. That price tag, I think, is going to be a little bit higher.
And it's going to be interesting to see. And I know it's a weird comparison, but Dalvin Cook's number that he eventually signs, it's going to be interesting to see the number that he signs and how that really comes next to Aaron Jones. Bears say $450 million by drafting Trubisky instead of Holmes. Boom. Sorry, it's a day later too. Love your show. Thanks, Kevin, for chiming in. We're very glad that didn't happen. But just for any of the Bears fans out there, we'll throw them this quick soundbite real quick.
With the second pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Patrick Mahomes, the second.
It could have happened, man. It could have happened, and they didn't let it, man. It didn't. But they did save quite a bit of money. The Bears did.
They're playing long term, man.
Yeah, they're really thinking it out with Nick Foles there. Jimmy Christensen of 24/7 Sports and PackerReport.com is my guest in this time at Jimmy_CO8. I think, did I get that right, Jimmy?
Yep, that's right.
Good. I don't have your Twitter up anymore for some reason.
Oh, you're good.
So bring me up to speed on Pack-A-Day podcast, man. I mean, obviously new episodes coming out faster than I can catch them. What's been going on there lately? Any of the good stuff you'd like to push?
Yeah, right now I'm I'm kind of on their Saturday rotation, just kind of brought in. I'm new to it, so
yeah,
the guys and gals there have been killing it. I know Jacob Westendorf's always on Wednesdays. They just had an episode now where they brought their spouses on. So like Maggie brought her husband, Jake brought his wife, and when I was talking to Jacob about it, I was like, my wife knows nothing about football. That's kind of cool. And he's like, oh no, mine doesn't either. So I'm interested to listen to that one because I'm just trying to think of my wife talking about football and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I know I can't. I can speak for my girlfriend when she doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about during this 2 hours every week. But nonetheless, all right, I'm going to throw a couple quick ones at you. I've been asking every NFL guest this one.
Yep.
So I'm putting you on the spot. Your way too early prediction for NFL MVP in 2020.
All right. This one I actually was just talking to a buddy about this the other day, and I have a little bit of a hunch on this one. I think.
Okay, let's hear it.
So Russell Wilson's been working out with Antonio Brown in the backyard, you know, and if they get AB, as crazy as that man is, it has to be the year. It has to be the year that Russell Wilson at least gets one vote.
That's also my pick. So I'm with you.
Okay, yeah.
I'm on the Russell Wilson bandwagon as well. So I like that pick. That's good. So the number 2 wide receiver for Green Bay this fall will be who?
I think my dark horse pick is MVS. I just think I mentioned it before. He's been in so many different offenses. Last year was his first year with Matt LaFleur. He's going into his second year with him. He's had all the time in the world to study. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things I've talked with a lot of the Packer players is like, oh yeah, I'm working on my mental aspect right now. So I think he's going to talk about chip on their shoulder. People have given up on that man very quickly. Like, granted, we had hype on him last year, working out with Randy Moss and things, but a lot of people already kind of riding him off. And I think I could see him stepping up and being wide receiver number 2 next year. He has to be hungry. Yeah, that's my pick. I'm gonna go with him.
I like that. Obviously, we saw what Lazard can do. The one name that I'm interested by is EQ St. Brown. Obviously hurt last year. It's going to be interesting to see how he plugs in his, I guess, first technical year of this LaFleur offense. It'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table.
Yeah. But sorry, this is kind of another one question I guess I have for you. I'm throwing it back at you.
I like it. Hit me.
I have an article coming out. It'll probably be out in like a week or so. But Tim Boyle's. I asked players their offensive breakout player and their defensive breakout player.
It's funny. I was going to throw that at you next, so that's good.
Oh, really? Oh, perfect. Yeah. Tim Boyle picked Jake Kumro. Alan Lazard picked Jake Kumro. And I don't even know. My thing was like, I don't even know if he's going to make the team.
That's what I was about to say. I don't know. I don't know if Kumaro is going to make the roster. It's going to be interesting to see how that wide receiver room shakes out, because I don't know if Kumaro makes the roster, in my opinion. My offensive breakout would be, mine personally would be Jay Sternberger. I think that everybody's high on him. So I'm not going to go really fancy there by any means, or really sexy by any means. But I'd go Sternberger. Yeah, I don't know. Kumaro. Does he make the roster? You're saying no as well?
I didn't think he was going to. And then
now hearing all this hoopla.
Yeah. And one of the aspects that I think maybe he could is PFF ranked him as the best pass protection or like best blocking wide receiver. And if we're going to be a little more run heavy, maybe we want to have someone on there that we can just kind of like put into situations where it's like, hey, we really have to, I don't know if you maybe like kind of solidify the edge sometimes.
Right.
Maybe
the other thing, him being the oldest wide receiver on that team right now is just such an interesting or intriguing little facet of that offense where we don't know, if he's already hit his peak. I mean, has it already happened? Can he really provide a bigger spark than he has in past years, especially with some of the new additions on the offensive side? So we'll see with Kumar. I think that's one of the really fun asterisk notes in your notepad for training camp once it rolls around is where Kumaro fits in. My next question was defensive breakout player. I know you've been talking to a lot of D-backs. Do you have a hunch about any of them?
This one's not going to be exciting, but I think I'm going to have to go with Darnell Savage.
Okay.
Just going into his second year, he was hurt a little bit last year, and it was one of those nagging ankle injuries. And for an explosive player, that's going to affect how you play, how you move. Right. He was more instinct last year, beginning your first year. That's mostly what players say. And I think going into his second year in the same system, I've been harping on that, but I just think that's really huge. So he's my go-to guy next year for breakout.
I like it. I mean, I've got several picks in mind. I have a big guarantee that I'll make. I think Kevin King will lead the team in interceptions again. I think he's gonna balance well again back there, and he'll go get his money for the following year. A breakout. I do like Kingsley Keke. It seems like he's been all over the internet the last few months doing interviews saying that he's ready to break out. Yeah. I'm buying into the hype. I think he'll get some good looks. I'm excited to see what Rashawn Gary does in year 2 as well. Yeah. Maybe he could really play that extra role, but we will see. Jimmy, go ahead, plug anything you want to because you do a lot and I don't want to do it for you. So have it away. We appreciate the time.
Oh, yeah. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. I was waiting. I was hoping. I was I was saying to my wife, I was like, I hope they ask me to be on the show soon.
Here you are. We're glad we did it because we've been waiting for it to happen. So thank you. But yeah, go ahead. Plug whatever you got going on, my friend.
I'll have another interview, hopefully with Kingsley Kiki, coming out next week on the Pack-A-Day. I'm talking with his people right now. Hopefully have him on. I did an article on him, but it's always kind of fun to do both. And then I'm going to let someone else make the big announcement. But I have something in the works right now. I'm part of a team that's putting something together, and the announcement will be out really shortly, but look for something really cool happening in the next couple weeks.
Awesome, man. Well, you keep up the awesome work. You've been doing big things and killing it, and we love watching your growth. So we appreciate the time once again, and we'll do it again soon. All right, my friend?
All right. Sounds good, boss. Have a good one.
Yes, you too, buddy. That's Jimmy Christensen. Oh, we brought him in and then exited him. That's on me, Kyle. My bad. So thanks again to Jimmy Christensen. PackerReport.com @Jimmy_C08 on the cesspool we know as Twitter.